Well, some time ago, I signed up for a campaign called Grow Wild, and it's run in conjunction with Kew Gardens, and I think the website is growwilduk.com. And if you filled in your details, then they'd send you some packs of some lovely wildflower seeds. Now, I've sown some of these around the garden, but I was wondering, what about people who don't have a grassy area? What if they've just got concrete, just a patio area? How can we use the wildflower seeds and create some habitat for wildlife as well? So I came up with the idea for this thing. This is my bug house wildflower planter. And all I've done here, all I've used here is some old timber I had laying around the garden. So this is some decking and some other 2x2 timber. And I've put it together, created a planting area at the top here, which I've yet to fill and sow the seeds. And then at the bottom here, I've created an area for bugs. I've created a little bug house. So this is the bug house area of the planter, and all I've done is used old bits of log, bamboo and other sticks and that kind of thing, drilled lots of holes and positioned it all to make a nice pattern. And the idea is to fill in as many of the gaps as you can to get it nice and tight in there so it doesn't all fall out. And hole wise, I've drilled 8mm holes in most of the logs, but you've got bigger and smaller gaps dotted around, so you're going to attract a number of different species, fingers crossed. But whilst I was creating this, I thought I'd have a bit of fun, so I set up the camera in time-lapse mode and took a time lapse. So let's take a look and see what happens. So when you first start off, it always looks a bit bare and a bit random, but as you put in the larger pieces and you start arranging things, you start to get a bit of a feel of how it's going to look. And then once you fill in all the gaps with smaller and smaller pieces, it gradually comes together until you end up with a finished article that hopefully you're going to be happy with. And if you're not, just take it out and start again. So managed to get that sorted. And then, so what I've got left to do now is to fill the top area and sow the seeds. So if you have a look inside here, you can see that we've just got the bare wood there. So what I want to try and do is to create a little bit of a waterproof barrier to protect the insect habitats below. So the first thing I've got to do is to cut this bit of plastic to shape. So pop that in there like that. That's not too bad actually. I think what I'll do is pop some soil in first. Let's do that. And then I can trim it afterwards. So this is just some soil that I've dug up from one of the borders in the garden. It doesn't have to be particularly fertile soil. In fact, the less fertile it is, the better, I think, for wildflowers, apparently. So we just fill this up. Just takes a few little trowelfuls. And then once we've done this, we'll just tap it down a little bit. And then trim it up. Let's just pop a little bit more in. Let's give it a little trim. We don't want to see that poking out the top. Little trim. Okay. That's that piece done. That bit done, that's better. Need a couple little more trowelfuls just in the top there. Brush it down a little bit. Looking good. Get that in there. Right. So there's the soil, that's all in place. Now the next thing we need to do is to sow some of the seeds. So when you open one of these packets, you've got another little packet inside. And if you open that, if I pour it here, you might be able to see all the different seeds, and they're all different shapes and sizes. So all I'm going to do is just sprinkle this on top. Now if you're doing it over a wider area, you can pop the seeds in a bucket and mix them, a little bit of psyllium with it, and just mix it all up and then spread it over the ground. It just makes it a little bit easier to get an even covering. So I'll pop the seeds in there, and I'm just going to give it a little dust over with my hands. Maybe a little bit more soil just on top. And that's it. So all that's left to do now is to give it a water, put it in its final position, and wait for the flowers to grow. Ideally, you'd want to position it in a south-facing position to get a bit of sun, bit of shade as well, won't hurt. But hopefully we'll get wildflowers on there soon, and we've also got some lovely habitat underneath for lots of solitary bees and other pollinators and beneficial insects. So fingers crossed, we'll get some visitors and we'll get some plants.